And while I start the next part, I'd like to welcome here on stage. Please come to the front, Clemens Weins, Stefan Haller, and Daniel Glassmann. So here to the podium so that it's easier then to switch to the next short presentations. So as I said, you will see now a fruit of very delicious pieces of outcome. And let me take 10 seconds here at least to show you this wonderful fruit that you will see now. So there are 3 areas of implementations. One is focusing on helping to work with ITS 2.0 in editing environments. And the persons here on stage will talk about that. Then how to generate that information automatically and validate that will be the next part. And then how to do something with it, how to automatically process ITS 2.0 enhanced content. And again, what I said before, this is really to get you to show the faces behind this, so that you know how to work with this. So the first implementation in the editing environment area was focusing on content management system. I will present that on behalf of Adobe. Then Clemens Weins will present the work from Cocomore. Then Stefan Haller will work from init. And then Daniel Glassmann will Disruptive innovations work. So very briefly, what did Adobe do to implement ITS 2.0? They created ITS 2.0 functionality to make the offering easier in an open source content management system. A system that is capable of handling standardized web content like HTML5, but also formats which are important in the localization realm, like EXIF. And one key aspect here of this implementation is that it was fostered by a big corporate, which shows that this is really also helpful for large-scale industry localization cycles, and that very welcome, very good complements the implementation done by Cocomore, which is more focusing on the SME realm. So now, Clemens, it's yours.
Okay, 2 years in 1 minute. We have implemented, or let's start with the end. We have made a possibility for the user to annotate content with multilingual metadata. That means we have extended a module for Drupal, for the open source CMS Drupal, and the user is able to annotate content very easily with this new WYSIWYG editor we have created. Therefore, we have implemented ITS 2.0 into the CMS and extended the WYSIWYG editor so that the user easily can use it. And therefore, we also used a jQuery plugin we have developed. At the end, and this is when you can define business, you need a use case. And we worked together with VDMA and we made a use case so that we were able to annotate 141 press releases for the VDMA, translated, and it was very easily and it worked very well. So at the end, we could evidence that our implementation is very, very efficient in its way, and it was great to work together in this case with LinguaServe. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Stefan Haller from init. We are an IT company from Berlin, and we have implemented ITS for a LibreOffice writer. Probably, you know, most of you know it. It's an open source alternative to Microsoft Word, for example. And what we have done is that we have implemented and integrated the ITS data categories into the user interface of LibreOffice writer. And the result is a free and open source extension to LibreOffice. And for everybody who's interested in enhancing translation workflows, you can download it here from the address. It will be available in the next days.
Okay, hello. BlueGriff is an open source editor based on Gecko, the rendering engine of Firefox. It's cross-platform. It's available on Windows, Linux, and Macintosh. You can download it from http://bluegriffin.org. And I implemented a large initial part of ITS2 under a contract from the FKA, thanks to Felix and the European Commission. So I'm sorry, the screenshot does not show really well on screen, but you have a complete UI implementing 3 data categories of ITS2, translate, localization note, and terminology, in full compliance with the standard. So it means it's a WYSIWYG editor. You see the page that you see in the editor is exactly the one you will see in a browser. And you can select some piece of text or select an element and write your local ITS2 rules or global ITS2 rules using CSS selectors and XPath selectors. Everything is fully conformant to the spec. That will be publicly available probably at the end of the month with version 1.8 from that URL. Thank you.
So, thank you very much. So you saw that in this area of helping people to create content manually, there's a lot of support. I'd like now to call Andres Vasilev and Jirka Kosek on stage to talk about the aspect of generating ITS 2.0 metadata and then making sure via validation that you can make something useful out of it. So first, it's Andres. It's your floor.
Yeah, morning. Terminology is very important to deliver your message across people and languages, and this is why ITS2 is extended with data categories to deal with terminology. And Tilde developed open source tools to process ITS2 tags, and in our use case, we show how these tools can be used so that XLIF files or HTML files can be processed, terms can be automatically identified, extended information about terms can be provided and included, getting that information from terminology databases, and all that is visualized in an easy-to-use interface. And we believe that this use case shows how terminologists, translators, language workers can benefit from new ITS2 standard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andres. The next implementation, again, the presenter is not here, was from Stefan Institut to provide context with so-called text analysis information to help disambiguate information in web content. And they contributed heavily to defining that information in ITS 2.0 and developed a tool demoing that automatic creation with enricher tools. So when you have these automatic tools working with terminology and text analysis annotation, you need help to make sure that the right annotation have been created. Same for manual tools. And about this, Jirka Kosek will speak.
Yeah, thank you. If some technology has to be successful, it has to be available to all the masses. So what we have done, because today the only ubiquitous format is HTML5, we have worked closely with HTML working group. So using ITS is now possible to in any web page on the web, and we also work with developers of bleeding edge validator tools. So you can use ITS markup in HTML now and get your page validated to see if you are using ITS correctly. So give it a try. There are addresses of standard validators. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And you may think validation is no big deal, but what really is the great aspect of this outcome that each ordinary web developer is using this validation services, so lots of people can be made aware of this technology. So I'd like now to call on stage David Philipp, Dave Lewis, and Serge Gladkov to talk about automated content processing of ITS 2.0. And I will start with some aspects, again, of people who are not here, work done by Dublin City University to use ITS 2.0 machine translation. First, where machine translation web service was developed, which understands various ITS 2.0 metadata and leads to better quality in the translation. And a web service for training machine translation was developed, where one could observe a significant improvement of the translation accuracy relying on that metadata. Another implementation, which is not here, was done by the Okapi framework by ENLASO. This is an open source tool set of libraries for building localization processes. And it has the significant aspect that it covers all ITS 2.0 metadata items, data categories, all formats which were in scope, XML, HTML5, and XLIF, and many application scenarios like quality checking, term extraction, and so on. So this is an important piece to make the adoption of ITS in the realm of developers in the localization area easy and to have an intermediate benefit for the Okapi users. Now I come then to David Philipp to talk about the usage of ITS in web service scenarios.
Thanks, Felix. So this is a scenario built between Trinity College Dublin with Dave Lewis and University of Limerick. There's an orchestration architecture called Solas, and this pretty much brings together all the components that the others have been talking about. We are using generators like CMS Lion or Okapi. We are using the Jožef Stefan enricher for getting information on terms or text analytics. Also, we are using the Tilde service, and we are using multiple MT services, all brought together in a broker architecture. One of those services is also built by Moravia based on Moses for lock and Okapi framework. So this is basically a full round-trip testbed that will show you the usefulness of the ITS and also the other work item, the ITS to XLIF mapping, which is very important for the whole localization round-trip. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. And we continue with Dave Lewis to talk about usage of ITS in global content.
So thank you, Felix. So our interest is, as David mentioned, working with him, looking at how we can use ITS to support multilingual content processing, but in particular, how do we map that into the world of linked data and RDF? So ITS includes a mapping into RDF, and we're now taking that work forward as a really concrete platform into several initiatives. There's the leader coordination and support action that you'll hear a bit more about in a minute from Asun. Within CNGL, I lead a research team specifically looking at how we capture process provenance and use it in not only multilingual content, but multilingual search, multilingual personalization, and multilingual and multimodal interaction. And also we have a new FP7 project called Falcon, which is a SME focused project looking at how we can leverage linked data in real-world localization value chains, both for end-to-end process monitoring across those complicated value chains, and also for curating language resources for retraining language technology components, machine translation, etc. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. And the last one in this part of the basket is Serge Gladkov to talk about the preview of ITS in the browser.
Thank you. Thank you. Not too many boxes, only 4. My company is in the business for 20 years. We're doing the localization services. And over these years, we have seen technology making dramatic impact on people's life and especially on how people work. And undoubtedly, this will continue. We'll see even more dramatic impacts. However, the important aspect for us, translators, localizers who are actually doing projects, is not to forget about people who are doing this actual work, about specific translators, editors, reviewers, proofreaders, checkers. There are a whole bunch of specific specialities that you have to do in order to deliver a large project to a multilingual audience. And this project is intended to provide help for them, because these days they feel lost in a very fragmented environment where they receive specific small chunks of work without the context, and they are very much lost in the process. And of course, there's very variety of tools that deliver all those wonderful features and capabilities and new technologies in a copy and the other frameworks. Sometimes you just need a simple tool that just show you what is it all about, because this particular translator who is sitting God knows where behind this desk is lost, and there are no sufficient instructions. So this project is intended to give all the people who are actually typing on the keyboard to earn the living, the context of what they're doing. And they bring to not just the terminologies, but perhaps instructions, other stuff from the source of the content, which would be very far away with the client, through several stages of chain subcontracting to him as a web page to do the work. The project is called Work in Context Project. The goal is to show the simple web page for the translator, editor, proofreader, with the annotation about what is it about that he's actually have to do in a very limited time frame. That concludes the minute. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So the keyword very limited time frame, I think that fit very well to this session. And I hope that you have been a bit overwhelmed, but also encouraged to talk to these various implementers in this session. So thanks again. Let's give everybody a round of applause.